Hello. Tonight we will determine who is king of Christmas. Welcome to the Forge and Anvil podcast, where we embrace uncomfortable conversations to sharpen ourselves for the race set before us. My name is Connor. I'm host of this podcast. Tonight we have a Christmas special, if you will. We talk about a lot of really hard, uncomfortable topics on this podcast. So tonight we're going to talk about the hardest of all. And by that, I mean we're going to figure out who is the better man among us. So we're going to play a little game for our Christmas special. So first of all, let's go ahead and meet the contestants, starting with Zach Haval. Zach, say hi.
Hello, it's your pal Zach, back from the dead again. Singer-songwriter, guitar player extraordinaire, peace, love, and heavy weapons.
Awesome. And back again is Michael Aper.
Howdy, my name is Michael Aper. I'm a God-fearing student of the Bible, and I'm going to use that to my greatest advantage to sway the judgment in this competition.
Excellent. And of course, because we are playing a game and this is going to be a fun game show night, we had to get a judge. So I found the most judgmental person I know, Joey Roth. Joey, say hi.
Hello.
And this is the screen that we're going to see whenever Joey judges us. So who are you, Joey?
I'm Joey the Bootmaker from Washington State. Communist
Excellent.
Washington State. They. Vaccinated. Boosted.
Triple boosted.
No. Yeah.
Only double boosted. Weak. Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's get into this. And we are going to go ahead and read out the rules for our viewers. So the rules of the game are simple. I will put a question on the screen, and we will each take a turn answering the question. You must give a brief reasoning behind your answer in order to earn the judge's favor. Our judge will decide whose answer is best. The best answer earns a point. Each one of us is allowed one rebuttal throughout the duration of the game in order to sway the judge before he awards the point. So before Joey judges, just wait a moment to see if anyone wants to use their one rebuttal for the game. All right?
Okay. Sounds good.
So you must use the rebuttal after all three of us have finished answering the question, and once you use it, it is gone. Whoever earns the most points shall be crowned King of Christmas. Are you ready?
Oh, we're ready.
Oh, yeah.
All righty. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So the very first question that we have here, let me get it on the screen here. What is the best Christmas song and why? So I will go ahead and give my answer first. So I believe that the best Christmas song ever is "O Holy Night." This song is fantastic in terms of the lyrical content and theology. Lines like, "Till he appeared and the soul felt its worth," or "Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppressions shall cease." Those are all heavy-hitting lyrics that have some very deep meanings. Musically, the song is super intriguing, the chord choices and the structure, and when it's played by the right artist, it is absolutely brilliant. I would also encourage the audience, as well as to make my dad happy, to listen to "O Holy Night" sung by David Phelps. It will give you the chills. So that's my answer. Zach, what's your answer?
Okay, folks. The time of truth is upon us. Oh, Holy Night, sure. But various artists have covered it. But the Z-Man only needs one artist to bring you your favorite Yuletide song. Now, work with me on this. It's a song called "Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis" by Tom Waits. Now, before you get judgmental, consider the 1978 Austin City Limits performance of that song, where he launches from the song into a stirring rendition of "Silent Night." Now, what makes this song great is it has an oddly meaningful storyline to it, and it's sung from the perspective of said hooker in Minneapolis. Tom Waits is at his best on the piano, and his piano playing is top-notch. His phrasing throughout, including the Silent Night section, his phrasing can't be beat, and his chord voicings are top-notch. They would make even the most skilled jazz pianist take a second look.
A jazz what now?
Pianist. I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down.
That's absolute nonsense. So I'll give my answer now.
Look it up. It's worth a Goog.
It may yet be. Oh Holy Night is a strong answer, as is Hookers.
Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis, particularly, yes. My answer is to the tune of, not the tune literally, but in a similar vein as O Holy Night. However, this particular Christmas hymn is more complete, more robust in its doctrine, its theology, and lyricism. So Old Holy Night is very strong. It comes in and it's O Holy Night about praising God and like fall to your knees because of Noel, that sort of thing. It's very responsive in nature. But what's more powerful than our response to the gospel is the gospel itself. And I believe that the Wexford Carol, if you're not familiar, do yourself a favor and look it up. The first, I'll give you the first stanza. Good people all this Christmas time, consider well and bear in mind what our good God has done in sending his beloved Son. And then it continues with a wealth of liturgy and doctrine, explaining in detail the contents of the scriptural narrative surrounding Christ's birth, as well as its implications for us in salvation. So I believe it's of the same quality as O Holy Night, although it has not been horrifyingly poured out to the masses by every single artist having done it before. The Wexford Carol is a strong theological statement that also contains beautiful lyricism and melody.
Weak.
Pretty weenie.
Does anyone
Pretty
have
weenie.
a rebuttal before we go into Joey's judgment?
I feel like I need to hold on to mine.
Alrighty. So Joey, the judgment screen.
Well, okay. It's going to go to one of the songs that Mariah Carey has not sung. And being a good Reformed Christian, I got to go with a good presentation of the gospel, so Michael gets this one.
All right, well,
Wow, I don't think Connor liked that answer.
moving on.
Where's
All
the
right.
live studio audience for applauding? I think we need that. There it is.
Let's see here.
That
Joey,
was
I'm glad you're a
enough.
good Christian. That's what this is really about.
All right, well, let's move on to our next question then. So now, in a similar vein, what is the worst Christmas song and why? So, Zach, you get to give your answer first.
Listen, could my last example be used for that? Maybe so. I did maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe the version I did of it a few weeks ago on my program Musical Hangout is the worst version. No, it's not Mariah Carey, believe it or not. I would submit to Joey and the ladies and gentlemen and non-binaries listening to this, not Good King Wenceslas, but We Three Kings. Why We Three Kings? Listen here. I once heard this used, and I kid you not, as an ice cream truck song. Wrong-o. Every church across the denominations has had an out-of-tune children's choir try to sing this song. Now, why are they trying to sing this song? Listen, this song is so unsingable that not even children can redeem it. The melody is so unsingable, it has very little to do with Christmas or the baby Jesus. You're focusing on the three kings? Really? How about the one king lying in that manger? Am I right or am I right? I'll leave you with that.
All right. Well, Michael, you want to follow that up?
Now, that was entertaining, but it was not, in fact, the worst Christmas song. The worst Christmas song, and out of all of the questions, I feel more passionately about this than any of them. The worst Christmas song ever is "Do They Know It's Christmas" by Band-Aid. Now hear me out. This song, you won't recognize it at first because nobody actually listens to the lyrics. The lyrics, later on you'd recognize it as like, "Feed the world."
Lovely.
That entire song is completely about how Africans are so inept and so deprived from any source of wealth or joy or relative understanding of how the world works that they obviously need to be pandered to by Americans. If indulge
The
me,
colonizers. Yeah.
allow me to just read the first line of the chorus. This isn't even a verse. The verses are egregious, but the chorus says, "And there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time. The greatest gift they'll get this year is life, where nothing ever grows, no rain nor rivers flow.
Wow.
Do they know it's Christmas time at all?
The whole continent?
Because the entire continent is so pathetically inept that they can't even grow their own food, which is why then the bridge later on to "Feed the world, let them know it's Christmas time." It is the most offensive, shockingly cruel song to an entire, not just a race of people, an entire continent of people. It's horrifying, and it is played consistently on the radio. I hate it. It makes me irate that in our stupid woke culture, that song hasn't been canceled yet. Carry on.
You're still wrong, but good points. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I feel less strongly about this one than some of you, but in my opinion, the worst Christmas song has got to be "Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time" by Paul McCartney.
It's
So
up there.
I think the song structure is bad and the lyrics are repetitive and weak. Beyond this, I think the synthesizer is horrible. It's completely annoying and has an obnoxious warbly sound that drives me absolutely mad.
This is
It's
my
one of the few
testimony.
McCartney songs, maybe even the only bad McCartney song. I think
I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
I just hit skip every time it comes on any Christmas playlist. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
Same.
saying.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my answer. So anyone got a rebuttal before we turn it to our benevolent judge?
I don't even think I need one.
All right, Joey, the judgment screen.
This is a little harder than last one. All good answers. But one of you is pulling ahead, and that's Michael.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
Partially
Good
because
job.
I was in the car thinking the same thing not too long ago myself. So,
Astonishing. Yeah. It's a good answer.
although my
It's a
least
good
favorite Christmas song is "Drummer Boy," so
Ah.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
fairly annoying.
I don't think it's historically accurate.
No, I don't remember the drummer boy at all. I read the Bible all the
I saw
time.
the claim.
It's not in there.
Yeah, I watched a movie about that, Joey. I think you're lying.
Yeah.
What about that long-eared
Really into it.
Christmas donkey?
Nestor the long ear. You leave Nestor out of this.
The Christmas Donkey is that's a solid song. I'm surprised that didn't come up. I'm glad it's in the honorable
Yes,
mentions though.
Was there a song for that too?
I don't think so. I
yeah.
think it was just another
Oh, come on.
claymation puppet horror
We
show.
don't talk about it. Yeah.
This is
That'll
definitely
be
a
part
song.
part
I'm
2 of the
looking it up
Christmas
real quick.
special.
All right. Well, while
Dominic
Michael,
the Donkey is an Italian Christmas song.
Dominic the donkey.
Dominic the Donkey. Hee-haw, hee-haw. It's-
That's right. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Okay.
Treat yourself
Yeah.
to that little ditty.
Don't.
That is
Yeah.
that is worthy of an honorable mention.
For sure.
All right. We're gonna get some awful comments on this episode. I can tell.
Mm.
All right. Well, moving on to the next question. What is the best Christmas movie and why? So, Michael, we'll go ahead and start with you.
All right. One moment. Okay. The best Christmas movie, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
I believe I thought long and hard about this because there's my favorite Christmas movies and then there's the best Christmas movies.
Oh,
And those are two separate things.
that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
It is an important
Good on you.
distinction because
Good on you.
what is nostalgic is not always best. When
Mm.
we're looking at quality of film, I think we need to look at films that have withstood the test of time. Because movies that we currently might think of as our favorite maybe just came out when we were a child, or we enjoyed them, we identify with them. But a movie that has been identified with multiple generations is It's a Wonderful Life. It's a strong classic film that has withstood the test of time. It still promotes righteousness and healthy mental stability, although it is an example of instability. It is a film that has only grown in relevancy. It was relevant at the time that it was created because of the economic crises of the people that it was appealing to. It is still relevant because of the mental health crises that its current audience is appealing to. I think it's a holistic film that is relevant. It is acutely meaningful and powerful in its message. I don't think he can be beat.
You forgot to mention that Mr. Potter is also a stand-in for globalism and centralized power.
Also that, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give my answer next. Now, I was actually debating between two movies, and believe it or not, I picked It's a Wonderful Life as well, but I'm going to go ahead and pick my other choice then, since Michael chose It's a Wonderful Life. Now, the reason why I chose It's a Wonderful Life instead of the movie that I'm about to give for my answer is simply because I thought Michael was going to pick the movie I'm about to mention, which is The Muppets Christmas Carol.
That was
Okay.
definitely my second.
See, I knew it was. I was surprised it wasn't your first. So, Muppets Christmas Carol, we all know why this is one of the best movies ever, because it is flawless. Okay. There's perfect execution between everything from the puppetry to the puppet design to the human actors, the singing, the pacing. It is fantastic. Okay. And we have to acknowledge the fact that Jim Henson and company went out of their way to make sure that even for minute pieces of the movie, like when the fruit starts singing in one of the opening songs, they made fruit puppets, at least a dozen of them. Okay, just for that one, like 30-second, no, not even 30-second, three seconds of screen time. Okay, so I think that's really noteworthy. Beyond that, Kermit the Frog singing, "After all, there's only one more sleep till Christmas." Okay, you can't beat that. It's
Day.
like day. Yeah, exactly. So that is my answer. So I'm going to go ahead and let the Muppets stand on its own 2 feet and get out of the way and stop weakening my argument by talking more. But before I do, I have to guess. Zach, are you going to tell us that the best Christmas movie is Die Hard?
I am not.
All right, that's a shock.
Astonishingly, if you can believe it, not only did Michael pick my answer, so I'm gonna have to go on the fly here. We're gonna wing this, speak from the heart, and I'm not stalling so that my brain will give me movie. But Connor also, and I'm being 100% honest. God is watching. Picked my immediate backup pick. So where does that leave us, ladies and gentlemen?
In a group of men with exquisite taste.
Correct. These are men of cultures and fierce and mighty warriors of the night. Now, be that as it may, I would like to submit from the coffers of time How the Grinch Stole Christmas, not Dr. Ron Howard's Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, because that movie is terrible. I'm talking about the actual cartoon with Boris Karloff as the Grinch. Why? Because similar to the Christmas Carol, what I think Grinch does well is covers this redemption arc so perfectly that really Christ is the Redeemer, and the Grinch is later on redeemed at the end of the movie. Remember, it's not necessarily Christmas that he doesn't like, it's people. And he learns to love people, and by extension, the Christmas holiday by the end of that film. And that is what is absolutely, completely missing from Ron Howard's Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Is it?
Yes, they completely missed the point of the story.
All right.
I'm ashamed of my answer, but you guys gave me no choice.
I'm not gonna use my rebuttal because I think we all see the writing on the wall.
I don't think it's
so.
worth a rebuttal this round.
All right,
No,
Michael,
yeah.
you gonna use a rebuttal? Zach, you using a rebuttal?
Not for this. I agree with you guys. Like I just.
All right, then let's go to the
I only
judgment
won 'cause
screen.
I went first.
Okay.
Joey.
This is another difficult one. But being that I find It's a Wonderful Life to be a little too drawn out personally. Out of the 4 times that I've watched it, I've stayed awake through the whole thing once. But I would have to go with Muppet Christmas Carol because
Heck
of
yeah.
the story arc and the character turnaround. I feel like that it's a little deeper than the Grinch while still kind of being the same premise. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that's my pick. Connor.
Fair enough.
Connor
That would be
won.
my pick. Yeah.
All right, excellent. About time I get some respect around here.
How do you think I feel? You guys took my answers. I'm pretty sure there's some plagiarism involved here. And Joey, for falling asleep during It's a Wonderful Life, how dare you?
Yeah,
I'm astonished. How dare I want to take away a point from Joey and give it to myself if I
To
may.
be fair, that's probably 9 out of 10 movies I watch.
Oh, okay.
That I can attest to that.
I'll take at least half a point.
All right, Zach. Well, you got a chance to redeem yourself. So, next question: what is the worst Christmas movie and why? And who did we start with last time? Did we start with Michael?
Michael.
All right, so I guess I'm up then. So, this is going to be probably unpopular with the masses on YouTube. Maybe not this crowd or this panel, but with the masses. But I'm sick and tired of the movie Elf. Okay. So maybe it's not the worst Christmas movie ever made, but I've probably seen that movie like a minimum of 5 times each Christmas since it was released. Okay. In high school, every teacher wanted to be cool and played Elf on the week before Christmas break instead of having class. So the issue is I would start at the beginning of the movie in first period, the beginning of the movie in second period, the beginning of the movie in third period, and so on. Each class left off at a different part of the movie as well. And so the very next day we would have to start where we left off, which means I started watching that movie from a different spot every single time for like a week straight leading up to holiday break when I was in high school. And I am still not over it. So that is why I have intentionally banned that movie from my household for at least a
Wow.
minimum of 5 Christmases. And I'm only on year 2. So
All
that
right.
is my answer.
Keep the faith, brother. Keep the faith. Wow.
Zach, you go next.
Okay. Yes. Elf. A solid choice. Overplayed. My ex-girlfriend loved that movie. Watched it even during the summer. So Wanda, if you're watching this, honey, you're wrong. Okay. To watch it's not good. I don't know how you can watch that much Elf. Okay. I'm right there with Connor. Then I'm not as traumatized by him as he is by that, but yeah. But no, there is one movie worse than Elf. And ladies and gentlemen, non-binaries, I present to you the Netflix film Jingle Jangle. Now, why does this movie suck? Uninspired music, an uninspired storyline, and bizarre mathematical equations for things like the second derivative of fun or the square root of impossible. It seems to me, and I admit that I'm not a math whiz, I'm a musician. I don't even have to count past 12 hardly, okay? But it seems to me that the square root of impossible would be, in fact, an impossible calculation to make, would it not? Not to mention that they gave us Forrest Whitaker attempting to sing, not since Hugh Jackman dehydrated himself and freaking what's-his-face got punched in the throat in Les Miserables has singing been so horribly received by myself. Jingle Jangle on Netflix. Don't watch it. It's a terrible movie, and it's not just because Netflix put it out, because sometimes they get it right. But Jingle Jangle made me homicidal, and it made me not like Christmas for a minute there.
I guess that leaves me. It's a sad thing that Connor's answer is not motivated by how poor the movie is, but how poor the public education system is.
That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning.
But let's be fair. Elf was actually used as our English curriculum, okay?
No, he's not. He's not joking. There was at least 1 year in high school where I had not quite like a week straight, but like it was all day.
Yeah, that's sad. I didn't have that in my little Arizona school system. We were watching Esesimo, which is the Mexican version of Sesame Street. That and Nemo. We watched Finding Nemo constantly. That was overplayed.
Oh,
I digress.
I'm tired of Nemo.
Jingle Jangle is a strong answer. That is a poor film, and I haven't even watched it. I've just watched the advertisement, and it was mind numbing at that.
It hurts my heart.
I had a difficulty with this question. It's challenging because there's two different directions I could go, and I think that Zach's answer was motivating to me when he said that the Jingle Jangle caused him to be homicidal, and that brings me to my answer. Because while doing research today, I found that there's a movie called Santa's Slay. That's Slay, and it is in fact a horror film.
It's
where
one of the best.
Santa goes around straight up murdering people.
It's awesome.
In various festive manners. He finds creative ways to slaughter people, and if anything is absolutely contrary to the spirit of Christmas, I think that's got to be it. So I had a hard time with this because I genuinely like most Christmas films, and there are many that are objectively horrible films that are some of my favorites that I watch every year. Like an honorable mention, if I may, is Christmas with the Cranks. That's a horrible film, but it's hilarious because of how poorly executed it is and how idiotic the entire thing is. It's a spectacle and it's beautiful, and my family watches it every year.
did you know that is based off of a book?
Santa's Slay.
Yes. No,
It's
Christmas
been a
with the
minute.
Cranks. I'm not
Oh.
even lying. I have the book somewhere around here. Oh, you
Interesting.
know what? There it is. Skipping Christmas.
That's a Josh
Oh,
Grisham
okay.
book?
It is.
That's hilarious. I had no idea. I love Christmas with the Cranks, for the record. My answer is Santa's Slay.
Have you seen Santa's Slay though?
I have not. I've only seen.
Ladies and
50
gentlemen, he
years.
picked a movie that he hasn't even seen.
I would submit.
Suspect.
watched
James
the
Conn is in that
Christmas
too, Connor,
movies.
just like Elf.
I love Elf. I have not watched the entirety of Jingle Jangle. I don't watch bad Christmas movies because I love all Christmas movies. That's probably a bold statement.
Except for bad ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know, Zach. Should we use
Is that
that
part
as
of
your
the-
rebuttal?
Is that part of the rules? That it needs to be one that I've watched before?
I mean, wouldn't it? You can't just pick a movie you haven't seen, man. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, we'll have to probably turn it over to our judge, and I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Was
We'll
Listen, I'm not
see.
going to defend it as a Christmas classic, okay? And like, we could dedicate an entire episode to helping you guys understand exploitation films. But like, so I mean, is it a good movie? No. But I would have to push back on this that he picked that simply because he hasn't seen it. There are far worse Christmas horror movies than that.
There are many bad Christmas movies that I haven't seen that I was going to select. Another honorable mention is Fred Claus. That's the most idiotic waste of time. It's not in the category of horror, but it's also a terrible film.
It's horrific to think about. Paul Giamatti was not a bad Santa Claus, all things considered.
Well,
So bringing him back.
Let's turn it over to our judge, and Zach. I think we'll leave it up to Joey's discretion as to whether or not that counts as your one rebuttal.
Oh, sorry,
I-
but the answer I was looking for was Santa Paws.
I forgot about that.
No, actually, probably Jim Carrey Grinch. So yeah, it's a tough one when two out of three I have never seen before.
Oh.
So you guys, Michael and Zach, don't have that going for them. So with that, I'm going to have to go with Connor. While I don't think
Excellent.
Elf is a terrible movie in itself, I just don't get the hype behind it. I watched
Me
it
neither.
last year, and I'm probably good for the next 8 years.
All right. Heck yeah. One more from me. All right. We've gone over the worst Christmas movie, but now we got to talk about food. So, what is the best Christmas food and why? So, Zach, you're up.
Listen, this is another one of those ones that put me in a bit of a pickle. A bit of a pickle. Listen, I'm a Norwegian, a fierce and mighty warrior from the north. So there is a whole slew of holiday-themed food that I could throw out there. Mitsukaka, potato sausage, things like that. But we all know, deep down in our heart of hearts and our souls of souls, that the best holiday food is, in fact, ham. Now, I could just leave you with that, but we can play with this a bit more. It doesn't matter how you serve it. Glazed, baked, honey baked, steaked, chicken fried. It doesn't matter. Ham, it's pure content.
All right, Michael.
Ham's kind of an obvious answer because you think of Christmas meal and there's usually some glazed ham that's been overpriced and overbaked, and ham
Maybe at your house.
ham has a place, I suppose. I don't entirely see how that's a seasonal thing because you could have ham at a variety of different occasions throughout the year. Which brings me to my obvious answer, which is chili. Chili is a strong Christmas season meal. For when it's nice and cold outside, there's snow on the ground, frosty mornings, and just a big vat of chili is what brings warmth to the heart and the stomach.
Michael, how much do you know about snowy, frosty mornings?
I'll have you know I've had
Yeah,
at least
Mr.
one
Mesa,
winter.
Arizona.
Yeah.
It was 17 degrees when I walked to school this morning.
Well, I'm gonna have to submit my own answer then because I thought about ham, but I thought that's a little too generic, and I never thought about chili because that's obviously wrong. So naturally,
Yeah, we're not psychopaths, Michael. I hate to tell you. We're regular folk here. Yeah. Good hardworking Christian men.
so naturally, we all know that the best food that you can get when you wake up Christmas morning, you're ready to see what that jolly fat prowler left you in your stockings. You want a nice melt in your mouth cinnamon roll. Okay. Homemade Amish cinnamon roll. I submit to you that is the superior Christmas food, and that is my short answer. But I will use my one rebuttal because I've got to say, Michael, that is absolute heresy, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
I feel like I wasted my rebuttal on that. Yeah.
Everyone knows. Okay,
I
everyone
don't even
knows.
know what Christmas food is.
If it makes you feel any better, Michael, Connor is also wrong. But you're just more wrong than he is.
I don't know,
Everyone
I'd rather
knows, Michael,
roll
that
the ham.
chili is used for camping. Okay.
Can't
The
be.
only time that should be anywhere near the holiday season is
what
if
you
you
mean is
happen to be on the ski slopes. You can come into the lodge for some warm chili, but aside from that, get that out of the holiday season. That's reserved for camping and glamping only. Okay.
There's easier
think
ways
you're
to get
camping if you have
diarrhea,
chili.
Michael. There's easier ways to get diarrhea. That's all I'm going to
But
say.
none are nearly as fun.
Taco Bell is way more fun than. I don't trust people's chili. Listen, I almost trust Taco Bell more than I trust a random person's chili.
Okay, Zach, you're using the other half of your rebuttal.
Oh, he split it in half. Fair enough. Fair
Can I
enough.
use
All right,
that?
Joey. Who earned it?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, chili's obviously not the winner. I'm trying. See, here's the hard part. I would have probably, up until this last couple of years, gone with ham, but I'm trying to watch my sodium intake.
Important.
It's just a little too salty on its own.
That's the most adult answer.
Listen, I included all types of ham in there, Joey. Consider this. All
Like-
types of ham.
Like
What
the
is this?
kind that comes
A
in the
rebuttal?
package from the deli section at the grocery store and it's got the gel on it.
Well, if that's your thing, man, peace and love. That's not what I'm going to be doing. But yes, I did include all ham. Yeah.
Hmm.
Cubed, chicken fried rice. Come on now.
If the cinnamon rolls are my wife's cinnamon rolls they are. It is. The answer is
Excellent.
yes. Cinnamon rolls.
Excellent.
Connor,
Alrighty.
point
We
Connor.
all knew it was true. Okay, we all
Can I
knew.
add an addendum? This isn't for my cause, but my work actually did a chili cook-off in reverence of the holiday season. So
Well, your work is
the
wrong.
worst answer.
Yeah, where do you
There's a-
work?
You should
Cycles
quit.
are us. Yeah.
It was a Kwanzaa party, wasn't it?
bunch of pork chili. Yeah.
All right. Moving on then. We got to talk about the other side of this coin. What is the worst Christmas food and why? So, Michael, I think you're up.
Is it too obvious to say fruitcake?
Hmm.
Like that's kind of the classic horrible Christmas food. It's very festive and nobody wants it, and it was at one point circulated broadly and often thrown away. So I think that's my solid answer is fruitcake, because who wants that? It's like little marbles of gelatin, horrible candy that isn't quite fruit in the middle of a bread that is also not particularly sweetened except for the synthetic glazing over it. Fruitcake's pretty rough.
Speaking of circulated broadly and thrown away, Zach, what's your answer?
Listen, wait a minute. Are you saying I'm broadly circulated and thrown away? Listen, I'll have you. Okay, we're not going to go into that. Listen, fruitcake is like the ham for this answer, okay? Listen, I mean, it's bad. But what's worse than fruitcake, you might ask? And the answer is simple. Glug. The very sound of this Yuletide beverage brings absolutely no positive feelings. What is glug? Imagine you take a nice bottle of red wine. You pop
that beverage or a
cork.
food?
Food and beverages are one and the same. You can't have one without the other.
Oh, I disagree.
Do we have a beverage category?
Yes.
We sure do.
Now listen. Yes, but it's the best beverage, not the worst.
You got to
That's
be
why I put
thinking.
this here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Yeah, fair enough.
I read the rules, unlike all of you guys. Okay, Connor, I'm especially ashamed of you. You wrote these. Okay, back to my description. You get that with your corkscrew. You get that red wine opened up, and what you do is you pour it into a saucepan over a medium flame. What does this yield? Hot wine. Just think about that, folks. Wine that is above room temperature, not below like a white wine, but above room temperature, noticeably above room temperature. There is no benefit to having hot grape. It's basically hot grape juice because you're boiling the alcohol content out of it. So there's no, you don't get any of that. So you basically are left with very bitter, hot grape juice. There's no joy in that. That's my answer.
Okay.
What is the name of that again?
Glug.
Glub?
Glug.
G-L-U-B?
G-L-U-G, I believe.
Sounds like
Scandinavian.
Okay.
the name of an orc in Mordor.
Exactly. But that's more pleasant than this Yuletide beverage. And Jesus
Where there's
name.
a rip, there's a way.
We sang that in choir once.
Well, I'm also going to be submitting fruitcake because fruitcake is absolutely horrible. Now, because Michael took fruitcake, I'll go ahead and say my second least favorite, which is green bean casserole. Now, specifically, when I say green bean casserole, I'm referring to the fact that green bean casserole is kind of like playing Russian roulette. You hear the word casserole and you think, oh, this is either going to be the best thing I've ever tasted or the worst thing I've ever tasted. And green bean casserole just raises the stakes to a whole new level. So I'm going to submit that Aunt Sheila's green bean casserole is definitely going to be the worst. And who's Aunt Sheila? Everyone knows an Aunt Sheila. She might not be named Aunt Sheila, but you know who I'm talking about. She's the aunt that brings the terrible, terrible green bean casserole to all of your holiday events. So that's my answer. Any rebuttals?
I have a rebuttal, because that's a stupid answer. Now I happen to have the privilege.
I wish you left it at that. That'd been funny. Just
Green bean casserole. If we were talking Thanksgiving, green bean casserole is among the top 2 best foods on the table at Thanksgiving. And just because your poor Aunt Sheila is a poor cook, some of us are privileged with an Aunt Bonnie. And I've got a wonderful Aunt Bonnie who makes a mean green bean casserole that is absolutely delicious, and I go back for seconds and thirds.
come on.
So for that to be marred it's a travesty.
This is
Clearly.
my testimony.
Clearly,
Preach,
fruitcake,
Michael.
which was your original answer as well. I don't even need to win for this. I just don't like that you don't like green bean casserole. It's sad to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
I was
sad.
gonna apologize for leaving the text over your face while you answered, but now I'm not going to. So let's go ahead and move on to the judgment screen. Joey, who won?
Woo! Okay. I'm tied between two options again, and green bean casserole is not one of them.
Oh,
So I'm contemplating here because the
Hot wine.
fruitcake, yes, I do admit it's disgusting, but I cannot say that I've ever actually tried it because it just looks so terrible. And I'd never
speaks
actually
for-
seen it in real life until I got married and married into a family with family members that enjoy it, and it's kind
Oh.
of strange. And we thought about buying it as a stocking stuffer for one of them, and I couldn't even get myself to spend $10 on it because it's just looked so terrible.
Oh.
But I also dread the communion wine every Sunday, so hot wine doesn't sound very good either. So, what the heck? I'll give it to Zach. Zach gets it with his glug,
At long
even
last.
though
At
although
long
it's on the
last.
board.
he did bend it with a beverage. But
There was
Yeah,
nothing
I
that
did.
said there wasn't. There was in the
are we
bylaws,
talking?
there
Is this a red wine or a white wine?
It's a red wine.
Okay, a red wine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That does make it worse. Yeah.
it does. Yeah.
all right,
Oh,
Zach.
man.
Well, apparently you didn't read the rules because the next question: what is the worst
Oh,
Christmas
no.
drink and why?
Oh, they're worse. There are worse.
So I'm going to go ahead and give my answer because we need to chug along here with some of these answers here. So I submit to the jury that pumpkin spice anything is the worst drink and why. Okay, why is that? I love pumpkins. I love pumpkin pie, but pumpkin spice, any drink that has pumpkin spice past Thanksgiving is clearly heresy. After December 1st, you only have 3 options: peppermint, chocolate, and pine tree flavored drinks. Okay, those
Fair
are the
enough.
only ones that are acceptable,
Fair enough.
with one exception being eggnog. Okay, that's my
enough.
answer. Zach, what's your answer?
Fair enough. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I had a busy day at work, so maybe I didn't get to read all of the rules, but still, I come out swinging with a solid answer. Peppermint schnapps. Listen, if I want to get drunk with a minty back flavor, I'll just drink a whole bottle of Listerine. Okay, don't be poisoning yourself with peppermint schnapps. I beg you. Okay, drink responsibly also means picking responsible things to drink, and peppermint schnapps, they use that to burn warts off mules in Mobile, Alabama. That's all I have to say about that.
Michael?
I'm digging deep on this one. I'm gonna go with almond nog, because you know that there's almond milk
Yeah.
and there's
okay.
eggnog.
Uh-huh.
Eggnog's already about 50-50. People don't like eggnog, but then when you make it almond nog, not only is it not dairy and it's not cream, it's the sweet juice squeezed out of little almond udders, and some reason they whip it long enough to call it nog, and that just seems like it shouldn't happen.
Mhm.
Well, no one has a rebuttal left, so Joey.
Ooh, yeah. I was hoping that you'd make this one a little more easy, straightforward. The worst one, what I would drink the last of all of them if I had to, would definitely be the peppermint schnapps. Sounds awful, but the almond nog is heretical. It's just almond liquid with spice. There's no
I
it
enjoyed the
doesn't-
imagery of the almond udders.
Yeah.
no nogginess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to the almond nog.
Very good.
Oh,
very
no.
good.
It's taking a good thing and it's like putting lipstick on a man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to what is the best Christmas drink and why. So, who answered first last time? Was that Zach?
No, it was you, bro.
Oh, it
was
was
you.
me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, go ahead.
Best Christmas drink. Now, again, much like the ham and fruitcake answers, this one's a little vanilla. But hear me out. hot chocolate. Okay.
Hmm.
Now here's why. Because there are 800 ways that you can prepare this, and none of them suck. Okay. You can do it with chocolate milk and all the varieties of chocolate milk, 1%, 2%. You can do it with the Nesquik powder. Okay. And then talk about how do you top it? Marshmallows, solid choice. Whipped cream, man. I don't know if I could choose between the two. It's just so delightful. You can sprinkle the little nutmeg on there, a little cinnamon, and or you can do what I like to do if you got nothing going on that evening. You can put a little spoon, like a tablespoon, of Jack Daniels in there. It's fantastic. Okay, there's no wrong way to make hot chocolate. Except for Starbucks somehow screws it up, but we don't talk about Starbucks. But yeah, with the exception of Starbucks, okay, there's always the exception that proves the rule. It is impossible to make hot chocolate. Not even Aunt Sheila, Connor's invalid aunt, could ruin hot chocolate. It's just not possible.
Au contraire.
Nobody
Michael?
has any rebuttals, so.
Yeah, there's no rebuttal to that. Hot chocolate is fine for Tom Hanks and his clone army on the Polar Express, but I'm gonna say that a nice hot apple cider is both refreshing. It's not heavy. It doesn't foam up in your mustache, and if it does, you just enjoy it all evening because it's not sticky. Well, maybe it is a little sticky, but hot apple cider.
Wow. You're both incredibly wrong. Zach, double wrong, because my Aunt Sheila, boy, let me tell you, she's got talent.
Then she must be hired by Starbucks. Continue. And my answer is still correct. Continue.
So, hot chocolate is the holiday king in terms of popularity, but of course, much like libertarians, quality does not always mean popularity. Okay, so that being
You just
said,
admitted I was right. Continue.
that being said, I go with something that is not necessarily popular. It's much more controversial, but I think it is by far the superior drink, which is eggnog. Now, eggnog is one of those things that you have to know what you're buying, but if you get the right brand of eggnog, that thing slithers down your throat like liquid gold, and you pair that with some gingerbread cookies, and you've got yourself a holiday feast. All right, Joey.
You can also put Jack Daniels in it too, and it works.
That's
So
true.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I disagree. I put bourbon in my eggnog last year and it ruined it.
Well, that's a little different because it was probably not brewed by rednecks, but that's a whole nother conversation.
No, eggnog wins it. Eggnog wins it. I like
Oh,
cider,
yeah.
but it can't be hot for me. It's got to
No,
be cold.
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Hot cider's gross. Yeah.
Got to drink it cold and
Yeah.
hot
No.
chocolate. I drink that all year round, and you can make it bad. You just take a little Hershey's cocoa powder out of the jar and mix it with water, no sugar. Technically, it's hot chocolate,
No, you gotta have milk in there.
but it's not rich.
Yeah.
You gotta have milk in there. Doesn't the canned powder? Don't you put that in? Wait, I guess Nesquik.
You gotta have. You have to have a thicker base than water.
Oh, thicker base than water, but they say you can mix it in water on the jar of powder.
You can also put water in the mac and cheese. That doesn't mean it's good. It's satanic. Yeah.
Gentlemen,
I like mine made with margarine.
next question.
Margarine.
What is the worst gift you ever received? Best answer earns a point. Michael, what is your answer?
I don't even know. When I was a kid, I was given by my grandparents a Pokemon T-shirt, and my parents didn't let me watch Pokemon, so I had to get rid of it.
Dang.
I thought that was a pretty rough.
Dang.
Nazarenes, man.
Woof. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, my worst Christmas gift that I ever received. So for a white elephant gift exchange, I actually gave out a marijuana test and a pregnancy test that I got from the dollar store. Now, this is a roundabout way for how I got the worst Christmas gift. You see, Joey's 10-year-old boy cousin received the pregnancy test. So the worst gift that I got was when he came back to me on a Sunday morning at church and told me that the test was positive for pregnancy. That's the worst gift I received. Zach?
Wow.
Thanks for making it easy for me. One year, my grandma, God bless her, in the bag of clothes. Now, this was when I was not an adult, so I wasn't excited to see clothes in there. At the bottom, sometimes of the bag, Grandma would stick a little extra something, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. But this year, Grandma got it way wrong. At the bottom of the bag was a copy of a DVD of the Herbie the Love Bug movie with Lindsay Lohan, Justin Long, and Matt Dillon. I don't know if anybody, if you remember Herbie Fully Loaded, but I'm pretty sure that's the movie that made Lindsay Lohan start doing drugs. Because there have been many times when I have rewatched this movie and thought to myself, you know, that crackhead outside that's like, hey, buddy, you want a cigarette? Is onto something. That movie is so bad, it almost ruined Matt Dillon for me. It took many years for me to come around to Matt Dillon again. It took a little film from the late 80s called The Outsiders for me to like Matt Dillon again. I still haven't forgiven Lindsay Lohan for it. I still, to this day, have a hard time watching Justin Long and things. And that, my friends, is the worst Christmas gift I have ever received.
Joey.
Oh my. Oh. I do like the Pokemon shirt, but Zach wins this round with Love Bug.
Good imagery there.
Yep.
As an honorable mention, I feel like there should be a handful of my favorite popcorn shrimp and the Scorpion
King 2.
Specifically on Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Rise of the Warrior.
Rise of the
Oh,
Warrior.
man.
Yeah.
HD DVD is the superior DVD format. But we
The
don't have
shrimp
time to
was
go over
good
that.
until the Blu-ray tainted it.
Gentlemen, a recap of the score. Zach is coming in last place at 2. Michael and myself are tied at 3, so it is anyone's game. We only got a couple questions left. All right. What is one random fact about Christmas that you know that few people are aware of? All right, so I'll go first. So my fun fact, Elvis Presley actually despised the song Blue Christmas. So when he went to record the song, he intentionally tried to ruin the recording by having his backup female vocalist do the most annoying little ooh that they could possibly do. And it still ended up being a hit anyways. That's my random fact. Zach?
Oh, man, it's just a testament to the magic of Elvis, really. This one, I'm sure Michael, he may or may not agree with, but I'm sure he'll appreciate. This is one, I didn't know we need to have this conversation, but Jeremiah chapter 10 is in fact not about Christmas trees. Okay, it has nothing to do with that for 2 reasons. One, it's an anachronism, okay? You can't have Christmas trees before the actual birth of Christ. Second of all, if you do some contextual analysis of that Bible, specifically the one that the section that people throw at Christians throw out the most is verses 3 and 4. But if you continue to read the chapter, you'll find out it is very clearly about idolatry. So the fact that some Southern Baptist preacher somewhere threw that out there and told people that they couldn't decorate Christmas trees. Listen, I grew up a church kid and I went to a private Christian school and I've had to correct loads of bad theology throughout my life. But that was one I somehow dodged. Okay. And I feel that just the need as, a brother in Christ to just throw that out there, that just, read your Bible. Don't let someone read your Bible for you.
All right, Michael.
That's really interesting. I've never even looked at that before. Not in that context.
That makes me feel good because it's astonishing. Yeah.
But I didn't even realize that was like something that Christians had ever defended. The not decorating Christmas trees because of that text. That's
Unfortunately, I can
That's
say I've
appropriate.
witnessed that as well.
Really.
I don't know if I've ever heard a reference, but yeah, that's
Fascinating. My rando fact is, so you know how this kind of goes back to a lot of fundamental evangelicals who get foaming at the mouth and they're like, don't say Xmas, you're taking Christ out of Christmas. Ah! Well, actually, it was really common to say Xmas and use the symbol, what we know as an X, for Christ. Because in the Greek, that symbol, a cross, an X, what we think of as an X, is the letter chi or chi in Greek. And it's the first letter of the word Christos or Christ. So Christ, Xmas, is actually more accurately indicative of Christ than perhaps our own language at times. I mean, it's a transliteration, of course, when we say Christ with a C, a CH, but the chi or ki in Greek being an X is a really common symbol. And in a lot of more Orthodox traditions, you'll see that in lieu of a crucifix on the cross, in the center, there will be the letters Ki Ro, and it kind of looks like an X and a P because that's what it looks like in the English. But those symbols or letters in Greek are indicative of the name of Christ, and not just the name of Christ, but the title Christ or Messiah is what we would know Christ to be. So that's my little factoid: is that Xmas is honoring to Christ so long as you allow it to be.
Hmm. Well, Joey, who takes it?
I gotta say, none of you really grabbed me too much on this one.
Really?
I didn't laugh or cry.
Oh,
Oh, let me review my notes. I think Michael has probably got the only one that I had never heard before, so I'm gonna give it to Michael.
Hey, I'll take
All
it.
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep.
Fair enough. All
I had
right.
heard that, but not to hit Michael's credit that far in depth. If I had, I don't remember it, but yeah.
Well, I was homeschooled, so I didn't hear
Oh.
much.
Last
Surprised
question,
I never
gents.
heard about the whole tree decorating thing. That's interesting to me. I thought that was going to win, but
Yeah,
I
dude,
had to
it's
judge.
alarming.
All right. Tell one Christmas memory that is unique to you. Zach, you go first.
Alrighty, I'll try to make this as brief as possible. In many ways, this Christmas memory is, in all seriousness, this Christmas memory is why I'm sitting here today. About 18 years ago, on Christmas morning, I opened a gift addressed to me by Santa. And inside the box was a note from Kris Kringle himself. And in that note, he explained that there was a mix-up trying to walk around our house at night, and that he had accidentally delivered my actual gift to the wrong room. And he signed it, Santa Claus, and it said "Rock On." And I ran down to my older brother's room and opened the closet and found my very first acoustic guitar. And I have not put down the guitar for longer than a week since that Christmas morning in 2005. That simple gift got me from here to Nashville, Tennessee and back. In many ways, it's how I met Connor. I think we met in our guitar class, so it's in fact how I met Connor, and allowed me to meet Joey and make friends from here to Nashville and back. And so that is my answer.
It's a good answer.
Got all serious on us. Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Michael?
Oh yeah, best Christmas gift. Yeah. I was thinking we were on our last topic or the topic before.
Wait, this is favorite Christmas memory, right?
This is
Oh, it's
one
favorite
Christmas
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
Oh,
is unique to
golly.
you.
or a Christmas memory.
Here, I'll throw it up on the screen so it can block Michael again as he begins
Yes.
to answer.
Throw up on my face. Man, Zach wins, but that when I think of Christmas memories, it's kind of a tie between the more serious notes and the more goofy things. Like I was thinking about telling a story where my dog bit my face on Christmas morning because I was
Oh.
excited about her gift. But, which I guess I am telling that story since I've already mentioned it. I don't know. My best memories of childhood were my Christmas memories, and they're not exactly any individual occurrences as much as they are just how special it was to come together and be with family in recognition of appreciation and joy for one another. And maybe this is what I'll make as my Christmas memory. I was in a very orderly home, and it wasn't because we were under the oppression of our parents forcing us to be. But my brother and my mom and dad, the four of us, would sit down on Christmas morning, and we would alternate each year who would go first. And one gift at a time, we would each open one gift in accordance to age order. So either it was my mom, because she's the eldest, or myself, as the youngest, would go first. And we would go one after another and just stare at each other while the other person opened the gift. And when I got to maybe high school and told other friends about that, I realized that my family was kind of unique and weird because that's not a real common practice. And even since being married, my wife's family, watching our nephews just tear into gifts with no regard of anyone else around them is really nauseating to me. And it makes me that much more appreciative of the memory of how reverent gift giving was in my home. And we're not real big gift givers in my home, but in that moment, we took careful, deliberate time to really appreciate each other's gifts and appreciate having given gifts, but also receiving gifts, and having it be in that orderly and individualized method. I realized taught me a lot as a kid about how to behave, about greed, about appreciation. And I think that's been a contributing factor to what has made Christmas special for me throughout my entire life.
Sob. No, I did not have a heartstring tugging Christmas memory. Mine was simply a interesting one that was unique that happened to me recently. So I thought I'd share it because I think it's interesting. So I got to go to a Christmas concert at the Grand Ole Opry, where I got to watch a whole bunch of people do a whole bunch of their own original Christmas songs, a bunch of country musicians and the like. But I was actually watching Mandy Barnett do a cover of Rocking Around the Christmas Tree when partway through the song, the original singer Brenda Lee came on stage and met Mandy Barnett and absolutely surprised her. She had no idea that Brenda Lee was coming on, and that was crazy to see, someone who's like a living legend in most American households singing Rocking Around the Christmas Tree in her old age now. Sorry, Brenda, if you're watching this, but you're getting up there in years, but that was awesome to watch. So that's my unique memory that I decided to share. So, all right, Joey, you can just reward one of these two. Or reward me because you just don't want to pick between the two sob stories.
The sob stories touched me deep inside, but not too deep. Michael, I relate to your answer as well. Same thing. Growing up and then marrying out and it not, well, I guess it depends. My wife's extended family, it might not be the same thing. At least at birthday parties and things, the kids are all nuts and it's all a free for all, and it's overstimulating, and it seems there's no appreciation of the moment and taking it anyways. But I'm gonna give it to Zach because of the I don't know what my word I'm looking for is here, but I don't know. I love it good how one one Christmas moment can kind of set the stage for your the rest of your life, and I think that's neat. Yeah,
Good choice.
All right, gents, we have to unveil the winner. So, Zach came in at 3 points. I came in at 3 points. Michael is King of Christmas at 4 points.
Ho, ho, ho.
Take a
Except-
victory lap, Michael.
Except for wouldn't we listen, well earned, but isn't it, listen, maybe this is just me getting sentimental in my old age, but isn't the real King of Christmas Jesus? After all, it is his birthday.
I was waiting for one of you to segue into that.
I was gonna use that as my rebuttal just in case I lost. But apparently I accidentally used it earlier on.
Like multiple times, yeah.
Not listen.
Absolutely.
Me agreeing with Connor doesn't count. It's just me supporting my friend.
No, you're exactly right. Praise God for the incarnation of Jesus and the Advent that we can celebrate even now in anticipation for that exact thing. It's a huge blessing, and it's a joy to get to spend our longest podcast to date just goofing around with friends because of the wonderful privilege it is to be a recipient of that gift. He is the King of Christmas, no doubt.
Amen to that. Ironically, I thought about messaging Michael and asking him to prepare a little end message, and then it just ended up happening naturally anyway. So that's how it goes down here at Forge and Anvil. So thank you so much for listening to us ramble. I recommend if you share this with someone, have them watch it on double speed, because I'm sure it will be all the more humorous watching us talk twice as fast.
or half speed.
Or
I think I'm gonna have to go with Michael on this one.
I'm impressed with how well you are at that.
Dude, I thought, astonishing.
You must
If you listen to
practice.
that part of
Dude,
the half speed for even more
astonishing.
joy.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening in wherever you are from. We hope that you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We have been Forge and Anvil. Feel free to go to forgeandanvil.locals.com if you want to support the show. Thanks so much.